What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mumbling Thoughts. And if I look kind of dead, I am kind of dead. And it's because, well, I literally just ended things like right before recording this video. And I don't know, I just feel tired. And lately I've been just thinking, like, what's the point? Like, after all this swiping, all this texting, after all the endless how are yous and all the small talk, getting to know people and just talking to people, I don't know, I've just been, it feels just so exhausting. And it's because I feel like you put in all this effort trying to flirt, trying to be interested, just all for it to not go anywhere. And you either get ghosted or the conversation just dries up. Or sometimes someone do, someone does come and you think, maybe this could actually work. Maybe this could turn into something more than just friends. But it actually just ends up fucking you over instead. It makes you just feel worse than you were before. And there's only so much that you can take before you just keep asking yourself, like, what is the point of all of this? And there's this girl, the one I was talking about in the last video, and the girl I just removed on everything and I deleted her number. Everything, like, it's that kind of feeling where you're like, this might work. This might turn into something more. You know, we clicked, but things just didn't work out. And it just feels like everything that we've built up just went poof. Like, all the getting to know each other, all the texting, everything just like went down like that. Like, psh. It just like, it's such a fucking shitty feeling. Because you've built up this connection, you've given them a part of yourself. You became emotionally invested, all for it just to end in nothing. And I feel like this is just basically the cherry on top of all the other pointless conversations that I've had. And it just makes you question, why did I even come out of my shell if I'm just gonna be this hurt, this empty? You know? Because honestly, I'm putting myself out there just for things to not work out, just for me to get ghosted, just for things to dry up, and just for things to feel pointless and lead to nowhere. And dating and talking to people just starts feeling like this burden and this weight because you go in thinking there's something's gonna come out of this. Either a friendship or something more, a relationship. But in the end, it just ends up nowhere. And it doesn't take long for that enthusiasm to turn into exhaustion. And you're just left feeling emptier than before. And I think that it's because what we're doing isn't very, like, deep or anything real. And I feel like oftentimes it's just the attention, but there's no real affection going on. And I made a video before on how this applies to relationships, but I feel like it applies here as well. Because, yes, you're talking, you're flirting, you're texting, and you're giving each other compliments, you're flirting. But is that really affection? you know, because all this talking, all this chasing, it's attention. But I don't think that there's like a deep connection that you get, at least not right away, if that makes sense. And because it's just surface level and small talk and introductions, yes, it could lead to something more, but is it really worth putting yourself out there when in the end you know, well, you don't know, but you like just know it's not gonna turn into anything special. It's not gonna turn into anything more than just a conversation most of the times. Yes, there's times where you guys hit it off and things start going and you guys become friends and get to know each other and you guys start dating. But I feel like majority of the times you just know it's not gonna go anywhere and it just sucks. So that's why it becomes like this weight, this burden that you have, because you just feel like so exhausted because you want to put yourself out there, but in the end you know it's just not gonna end anywhere. And literally one day all I wrote in my journal was, I feel a little dead inside, or I feel feeling a little empty, dot dot dot, maybe a little dead inside. And this is literally what it's like when you invest too much into these interactions, and especially for someone like me who puts myself out there, puts my whole self out there, not just a part of me or a fraction of me, or like it's like a small thing for me, you know? Every time I pour my all, my whole, my soul, my heart into it, you know, because I want to make it deep. I want a real connection, you know? There's no point, there's no fun. Maybe it is fun, but there's no point in just talking and making small talk or introducing yourself or flirting or doing all those things without like a deeper connection. Because like I said, it's just attention without the affection, and at that point you know it's not going to end anywhere, and it just turns into something meaningless. And there's a loneliness that comes with that effort, because you step out, you try something new, you put yourself out there, but then in the end you retreat because it's just not leading into anything meaningful or anything more. And you put yourself out there, you pour in, you pour in, you pour, you try and you try and you try, but in the end conversations dry up and you get ghosted, you know? And then you start spiraling down into like this thought of thinking, maybe you're the fucking problem, you know? Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not giving these people enough, and I am not enough, you know? And you start feeling like it's the same shit over and over and over again. And you just feel fucking exhausted. And here's the thing, it's not even just those surface level conversations, those short conversations that you have with someone that you just meet, those flirts, those introductions, that small talk. Sometimes it's those deeper connections that you make too. It's those connections where you think, maybe this could be something more. This could really be the one. And the thing is, since you think it could be more, you invest that much more into that relationship and into that person because you believe it could work and turn into something special. So you open yourself up. You become vulnerable because you think it's a safe space. It's a safe place for you to open up. you know. But then suddenly you're left thinking where everything went wrong. And that's why I say that sometimes when this happens, it's worse than those surface level conversations. Because now you've given a part of yourself to that connection, to that person. You know, they become a part of your routine and you've developed an emotional connection to that. And now, when you tell them you want something more because you thought it could be something more, they retreat, you know? And things just can't go back to where it was anymore. And that's sort of where I'm left feeling right now. And that's also the reason why I decided just to cut her off, because I just feel like things, like I said, were just going down, you know. Conversations just took longer and her replies became longer. Before it was 2, 3 a.m., you know, stayed up all night. And then we would just text, and honestly, maybe that's my problem. Maybe my problem is just responding right away whenever I see their text, because I don't want to play these games, you know? I don't want to be like, oh, you took an hour to respond, let me take an hour, or double that, or 3, 4, 5, you know? If I see your text and I'm free to respond, I'm gonna respond, you know? I don't want to play these bullshit ass games. And so the conversations, they just slowly got shorter and shorter and shorter. What used to be staying up at like 2, 3 a.m.s turned into waiting 12 hours, 24 hours for a response. And yeah, maybe she might be busy. Maybe. She probably is. But even if so, that just goes to show that I'm not really a priority, you know? And that just sucks to see. And I thought it's not gonna be what it used to be. We're not gonna be the friends. We're not gonna have that connection like what we used to have. Because everything's on the table. How she felt, how I feel. Everything's open. We've said everything. And if this is what it's gonna be like, and I've already developed these emotions, there's no going back. If I stay friends with her, then that's just gonna keep hurting myself. You know, I'm gonna keep overthinking whether I like it, whether I want to or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But sometimes it's not even the overthinking. It's just the idea of not having what we had anymore. And it's not going to come back. Which is why I just said, you know what? Things aren't going to be like how they used to be. So instead of having her there, ruining me, I will just remove her from my life. And that's what's best for me. It's unfortunate. It sucks. Right now, I'm like, oh, I really didn't want to. All of my friends were like, block her, remove her, you shouldn't text her. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it, because I was like, maybe, just maybe, we could be friends or have something like what we used to have. But tonight, I realized, no, that's not ever going to happen anymore. So I'm just gonna remove her, you know? But like I said, it feels like it's like every time like I decide to come out of my shell, I'm always wondering if it was even worth doing so. Because in the end, it just hurts to see the person just go, you know, and you making the decision just to let go of them. And It's hard, and it's harder this time because compared to last time, because this time we actually developed a connection, you know. Whereas last time, yeah, we hung out and we talked a little bit, but we didn't really get to know each other. But this time, we flirted, we texted, we hung out, you know, like we did everything you could possibly do in like a talking stage. And I planned the dates, and she hit me with the, is it okay if we just stay friends? I don't want to lead you on. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. But it was just a little too late, you know? And I question, it's like, do I go back to my life, to in my shell? Do I go back to staying in my own bubble? Because at least there, I'm not chasing something that seems so futile or meaningless or something that's going to just fucking ruin me in the end, you know? And it's hard. It's hard because you don't want to be hurt. You don't want to experience this pain anymore, you know? Because it's so heart-wrenching. But you know what I realized? Even though it's hard, it takes a different person, a different you, a different me to pick yourself back up again and keep trying. You know, because here's the thing. All this hurt, all this lesson, all these lessons, all these heartbreaks, all these talking stages, all these failed talking stages, you know, they all lead you to become better. And that leads you to finding the right one. And I know that's not what you want to hear. You don't want to hear that all of this is meant for a reason. Or you don't want to hear that you need to keep going through this in order to find that right one. But honestly, it's because we grow, and we grow in this exhaustion. We grow in this feeling of being burnt out from talking to people. But we learn what we want. We learn what we don't want. And we learn what's worth our time and when it's time to move on. Oh my god, okay. I don't know why I ran out of batteries because I just charged this shit, like, recently. But I'm gonna keep talking and let me put this battery in and we can keep recording. But anyways, we learn in the exhaustion, we learn what's worth our time, what we want, what we don't want. And there's a lesson in that. And in every situationship, every heartbreak, you can really see how far you've grown. You know, from your first relationship or failed relationship, your first love, your first crush, you slowly see that you're becoming better. You're learning what you want, you know, you're learning what you don't want. And you see this progression, and honestly, when you do, it's motivating because you're like, wow, I'm really grateful for that experience. And I keep saying this, heartbreak is one of the greatest teachers in life because it forces yourself to dig deep and look inside. What's wrong with me? Maybe there's nothing wrong with me, but I'm sure there's something wrong with you because we all have problems no matter what, and we need to fix that. And the only way to really make us or bring us to realize that is a heartbreak, because we're forced to question ourselves and what went wrong, you know. And that's why we learn, and that's how we learn. So maybe next time you come out of your shell, you'll do things differently. Maybe you'll have stronger boundaries. Maybe you'll focus more on the people who matter instead of those fleeting connections. And the thing is, you won't really find them right away. And that's okay because you'll find them at your own pace. And all of that shows growth. It shows that you've learned from all the mistakes and all the hurt, but you still keep getting up and you still keep trying and you keep that hope alive. And that's all you really fucking need. All you need is that hope. And I know it hurts because you always feel like you're losing hope, that you're not gonna find anybody, that you're gonna be single forever, because the thing is, you think there's this mutual affection, the mutual liking of each other, especially those deeper connections. You think maybe this could go somewhere. Maybe they actually like me. Maybe they do like you, and that's a rare thing. I like somebody, they like me too. Oh shit, that never really happens, or that barely happens. And then you become emotionally invested. And that's when it's dangerous, because you feel like you're not gonna find this anymore. But the thing is, you're gonna find it. No matter how much you think that they might be the one, if they're not showing you signs, if they're fucking putting you down, if they're not treating you right, if they're treating you with disrespect, if they're not prioritizing you, then they're not the one for you, and you should move on. And it's hard, and it's okay that it's hard. You can take the time to feel all the emotions in its whole. Go cry your heart out, go scream, or go drink like a fucking bottle of wine or something, like it's okay to be sad, but you need to move on. So all of this will lead you to finding the person for you, so you shouldn't worry. Just take your time, trust everything that happens. I don't want to say it happens for a reason. It does, but you grow with every failed experience, So I'm not saying we should just give up on trying, or that we should stay in our bubble and just give up and lose that hope. But sometimes it's okay to feel exhausted and to question if it's even worth it, if it's even worth coming out of your shell. Questioning, like, what the fuck is the point of all of this if it just leads to nowhere, or it makes me feel like shit, It's okay, because you're going to learn from all these experiences. And I want to emphasize on moving forward, because you'll retreat, but you'll reset, and then you'll move forward. And that's the most important part, moving forward. And who knows, maybe next time the outcome will be different, because you will be different. So that's all for this week's Mumbling Thought. Thank you all for listening. I was kind of ranting a little bit, but don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Also, leave your mumbling thoughts in the comment section below, and maybe we'll talk about it. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's okay to take a break from how you feel and when you feel burnt out, because you don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone attention or affection or anything, or your time even. You don't have to keep putting yourself out there either if it feels draining. So just be kind to yourself, and always I'm proud of you for making it throughout the week, no matter what you're going through, whether if it's a heartbreak or just life is beating your ass right now. Go have a sip of wine. I'm joking. Don't do that. But anyways, just trust that everything will be okay and you're doing great. So that's all I wanted to say for this week's Mumbling Thought. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.